Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is Nama of the DC camp, a branch of Great Millstone, back for another video. But first and foremost, call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rikahakwadash, and of course, once again, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, who deserve double honors and who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. All right, and at the same time, downloading numerous videos, all right, that go out through the airwaves to help further push this truth out. All right, so here we go with the copyright disclaimer because I'm going to be using a video. This is under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, here we go. So we have another case of them trying to twist everything. This is from the Tim Black TV podcast, and wow, they're trying to get out of that punishment, that's coming their way. They sense it. These curses are transferring to them now. All right, so here we go. I'm sure you've heard by now how Donald Trump, I'm here in D.C., so we always hear about, his beef with the Smithsonian and trying to get them to change history to make it more palatable for them folks. All right, and of course, this is what prophecy in the scriptures told you about these people. All right, so let's go ahead and roll the video.
To the table by arguing in part that slavery in America can't just be blamed on one race, and that museums put too much focus on the role of white people who participated in that terrible institution. And now tonight, that same argument is being pushed by the President of the United States. Donald Trump says that one of the reasons for his crackdown on Smithsonian museums is, quote, everything discussed is how bad slavery was. What we try to do on this program is create a platform for discussion and debate that reflects the very real differences that exist in this country. It's what echo chambers in our society fail to do, frankly. But on this topic, it's important to say objectively, slavery was indeed bad. It was evil, the nation's original sin. And it is impossible to understand the true history of this country without fully grappling with slavery's impact.
And let me just say before they get to rolling here, these assholes will try to convince you that they stopped. No. They always looked for more inventive or slick, I guess the best word I can come up with at the moment, ways, all right, of steady keeping their foot on our neck, all right, and lots of psychology BS in play here. But no, they never let up. They just, yes, chattel slavery. But what did they do when that ended? Well, we got to get cheap labor or free labor from somewhere. Oh, I know. In that 13th Amendment, it says, except when you're convicted of a crime. And they never changed that. All right, and in the last few years, they talked about it, but nothing was ever done. Why? Because you have too many people, them folks mainly, but you got some jakes invested in that shit too, and I'm talking about the private prison industry. That prison industrial complex that started right after, all right, 1865.
Because of their birthplace and the color of their skin, the bodies and spirits of black men.
Yeah, I'm an AI, but I'm here to talk apps. Real apps you can build in minutes with Base 44. This finance apps
cares.
women, and
Sloppy.
children were exploited for profit and power. They were forced onto ships, bound by shackles and collars that ripped off their skin. One older man described it as iron entering our souls. Some chose to jump into the waters infested with sharks rather than feel that iron. Now, once they arrived on this very soil, they were forced to work by way of the whip, despite being starved, sleep deprived, threatened, tortured, physically and psychologically. They were auctioned off, humiliated, fearful, and separated from their families and their children. Black women and girls were raped and sexually assaulted. Many were brutally murdered and mutilated. Now, this endured for decades, centuries. And even in the places where slavery was not legal, institutions from our banks to universities were built on enslaved labor in both.
One of my last videos, I brought up the point about New York Life. All right, Aetna. All right, a lot of these banks. What is it? Chase Manhattan, and several others. I believe Wells Fargo. What was it before Wells Fargo? Damn it. God dog it. Even now they're linked to the prison industrial complex. But it was let's see, First Union, and then First Union before, I think it was Signet. Man, I got to check that out. I don't have that. Let's see, something easy enough to remedy, I reckon. Let's see. Let's see, U.S. businesses linked to slavery. Let's see. 15 major, all right, corporations you never knew profited from slavery. Let's go. This is from the Atlanta Black Star. And this is from, a little over 6 years ago. Lehman Brothers, okay, whose business empire started in the slave trade, recently admitted their part, but are they going to do anything to recompense or to restore? Hell no, just an apology. Aetna, like I mentioned, apologizing for selling policies in the 1850s that reimbursed slave owners for financial losses when the enslaved Africans they always say Africans, that died. They've long acknowledged that for several years shortly after its founding in 1853 that the company may have insured the lives of slaves. Boo-doo-doo-doo. We express our deep regret over any participation, but again, are they going to restore? That's why we tell you, or try to, wait a minute, hold on. That's what I did, Salaki. Almost got me there. I was saying 15, but that was only, okay. J.P. Morgan Chase, like I said. Today we are reporting that this research found that between 1831 and 1865, two of our predecessor banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana, accepted approximately 13,000 enslaved individuals as collateral on loans and took ownership of approximately 1,250 of them when the plantation owners defaulted on the loans. New York Life, all right. Who else here? Let's keep going. All right. Natchez, Mississippi. I apologize for it taking so. Let's see. I got this wandering Wi-Fi here. I got to keep moving around. Let's see. Let's see if that's going to do it. Okay. Wachovia, that's what I was thinking of. Wells Fargo. Wachovia, okay. Let's see what they did. Has apologized for its ties to slavery after disclosing that two of its historical predecessors owned enslaved Africans and accepted them as payment. Blah, 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 blah. N.M. Rothschild and Sons Bank in London was linked to slavery. The company was one of the biggest names in the city of London, had previously undisclosed links to slavery in the British colonies. All right. Documents seen by the Financial Times have revealed that Nathan Meyer Rothschild, the banking family's 19th century patriarch, made personal gains by using enslaved, here we go, Africans again, as collateral in dealings with a slave owner. Ah, so this goes, the blood on the hands of these fuckers goes way up, like we've always tried to tell you. Let's see, next page, what we got. Norfolk Southern. Okay, Norfolk Southern. We got the railroad. The Mobile and Girard Company, which is now part of Norfolk Southern, offered slaveholders $180, $3,379 today's money, even more so now, a piece for enslaved persons they would rent to the railroad for 1 year, according to the records. The Central of Georgia, another company aligned with Norfolk Southern Line today, valued its slaves at $31,303 or $663,033 today on record. USA Today, all right, has found that their own parent company, E.W. Scripps and Gannett, has had links to the slave trade. How about that? But nobody wants to restore. Nobody wants the people that they have wronged. And this is generation after generation after generation that have suffered as a consequence. But oh no, that wouldn't be fair to everybody else. Fuck everybody else. Did you harm everybody else? According to reports, Fleet Boston evolved from an earlier financial institution, Providence Bank, founded by a John Brown, who was a slave trader and owned ships used to transport slaves. The bank financed Brown's slave voyages and profited from them. Brown even reportedly helped charter what became Brown University, another Ivy League school, along with Harvard, Columbia. All right, CSX used slave labor to construct portions of some U.S. rail lines, all right, along with Moab, all right, rail lines under the political and legal system that was in place for more than a century. All right, but this would be before they brought Moab here, you know, en masse. All right, two enslaved, here we go again, whom the company rented were identified as John Henry and Reuben. The record states they were to be returned clothed when they arrived to work for the company. Wait a minute, what? They were to be returned, well, they butt naked or something? Anyway, individual enslaved Africans cost up to $200, the equivalent of $3,800 a day, to rent for a season, and CSX took full advantage. All right. Let's see. Come on now. All right, I'm in the sweet spot, so what's taking so long? All right, well, what else we got? Canadian National Railway Company, Brown Brothers Harriman. It's the oldest and largest private investment bank and securities firm in the United States, founded in 1818. USA Today found that the New York Merchant Bank of James and William Brown, currently known as Brown Brothers Harriman, owned hundreds of enslaved Africans and financed the cotton economy by lending millions to Southern planters, merchants, and cotton brokers. These motherfuckers, man. And they think they just gonna get away. They really do. Brooks Brothers, the high-end suit retailer, got their start selling slave clothing to various slave traders back in the 1800s. What a way to get rich in the immoral slave industry. Barclays, the British multinational banking and financial services company headquartered in London, has now conceded that companies it bought over the years may have been involved in the slave trade. Man. And the nerve of these devils. You know, what else we got here? AIG. All right, a Houston-based insurer that owns U.S. Life Insurance Company. A U.S. life policy on an enslaved African living in Kentucky was reprinted in a 1935 article about slave insurance in the American Conversationalist magazine. AIG says it has found documentation indicating U.S. Life insured enslaved Africans. And there you go. Let's go back to the video.
The North and in the South. And for many of the white Americans who did not personally own slaves, they benefited from a caste system that concentrated wealth and political power in their hands. So,
and they always say, well, none of my family, my family immigrated from wherever, but you still benefited from this system that was set up. So it's no getting around it. It's no try as you might. All right.
When we acknowledge the existence of black people who operated George Washington's Mount Vernon or the black hands that built the White House, we are acknowledging the existence, the perseverance, and the contributions of the souls that white supremacy sought to erase. Those people built families, they developed a culture, they were the keepers of the faith, cultivators of community. And they are the ones who deserve credit for forcing America to rid itself of the stain of slavery. Now, all of this information, these stories are from the Smithsonian's African American History Museum. And I share this not as a lecture for you, but as a lesson. America, the superpower, is largely possible only because of the superpowers of people who went lifetimes without the same rights of generations who were boosted from their backs. True history should include everything. Yes, the evils and the horrors too. And museums are supposed to be places that protect those stories, the images, the lessons, the very things that inform so much of our current state of our republic, from racism to poverty. No matter how painful or, in the president's words, how horrible the lesson. Now, just listen to one formerly enslaved man describe what slavery is like in his own words.
Is it Fountain Hughes? Who's it?
You know what I'd rather do? If I thought that I'd ever be a slave again, I'd take a gun and just end it all right away. Because you're nothing but a dog. You're not a thing but a dog.
It's sad that you got to even explain it like that. And what's sadder is that until she does it on Fox News, most of them will never see it. Slavery in America is very much a white thing. White people were responsible for slavery, not black people, in America. We want to talk about slavery across the globe. Even slavery that's occurring now, that's different. But if you're talking about U.S. chattel slavery, well, you're not just a slave because we beat you in a war, but you're a slave because you're black, the color of your skin. And you're a slave no matter where you go. If you're born a slave, you're going to die a slave. That's a different type of slavery.
Let's look at chattel slavery versus indentured servitude. Number one, duration. Chattel slavery was a lifelong condition. You didn't get out. Indentured servitude had a fixed term contract. Legal status. Chattel slavery meant no legal rights or protections. In indentured servitude, you had some contract protections. Inheritance. Chattel slavery's met. If your parents are slaves, so are the children. Any new children born, slaves. Indentured servitude was not passed down to their new kids or to their children. The end result, chattel slavery, there was no path to freedom. Indentured servitude, at the end of your contract, you receive both your freedom and citizenship. And that concludes my TED Talk.
Slavery in
Let's go
America.
back. Pause it. Read the very bottom. Important context. While both systems involved forced labor and exploitation, chattel slavery was fundamentally more brutal and dehumanizing. Indentured servitude, though harsh, offered eventual freedom and legal protections that were completely denied to enslaved people. Understanding these distinctions helps us comprehend the unique horror, I can't read that last part, and lasting impact of chattel slavery in American history because it was different than any other before. All right. And let's face it, since. All right. It was unique. All right. To the West. All right. Because, like he had mentioned briefly, it wasn't because you were a victim of, as a consequence of war or anything like that. No. It was specifically because of who we were. And who pointed the finger? Well, it was them Ishmaelites. When you go into your history, that's why I can't understand why Jake, they're just downright stupid and ignorant, but, why Jake would be a Muslim. All right? All because they're mad at the Bible, which that religion is a cheap copy of, very cheap at that. All right, Jake is just, But yeah, they're trying to get out of this. Let me get this real quick. This is, I thought I already had that turned up. Let's go a little bit further. Here we go.
And that concludes my TED Talk.
Slavery in America is white people's fault. Genocide in Gaza is Jewish people's fault.
It's
Okay.
still the same people.
Genocide in Rwanda is the Hutu people's fault. The Hutus.
But I wonder who had a hand in it.
African Hutus. You can't say slavery in America was somebody else's fault, not in America. You don't catch slavery. It's like somebody made it in a lab. Then somebody caught it and, took the bacteria to America and a bunch of white people caught it. That's not how slavery worked. And it was an institution that lasted hundreds of years. To try to paint this as anything other than that is just garbage. Right? I was hoping that one day we get past this slavery conversation. It's the biggest no-brainer that there's ever been. I thought we could move on to, hey, let's deal with the redlining. Let's deal with the forced sterilizations. Let's deal with the mass incarceration. Let's deal with all the other things, the Jim Crow era. Let's deal with the black codes. I thought y'all were ready to look at that shit. Because we all saw Roots. And no matter how white you are, you saw that and you was like, glad that wasn't me. That's so I thought we kind of all collectively had enough damn common sense. No matter who's the president, whether no-named, unnamed, weird white guy on X, known by a little tiny picture in his...
Real quick, before he continues on, see, this is the thing. They're catching hell now, on top of, they thought that electing this guy that, DJ Trump was going to fix everything. Oh, no. No. Au contraire, mon frere. Let's see. Let's get, okay, hold on. And again, this was prophecy, all right? This Deuteronomy 30, all right? And 7, it says, and the Most High Yahweh thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, and they do. All right? On a daily, they let you know. And like I said, they've done, I'll get it, with a continual stroke, which persecuted thee. All right? Let's see, let's go to Isaiah, because they like to say, oh, well, it wasn't that bad. Okay, And see, this is the thing, and this is what I've always said that Holocaust shit was all about. They had to have something happen to them that could be pointed to as worse than what happened to us. You know, they always have to play the victim. All right, and this is, you know, I want to get in because I'm not qualified to go into, but psychology like that. But it's let's go into it. It's called projection. All right, these people are so foul. Let's see, psychology. There we go. And are so fucked up, and they know that they've been foul and fucked up towards, especially us. All right. Not to mention the fact that they stole our identity and had to try to force themselves to fit the prophecies, which they don't. This is what the hell are they trying to get? Wait a minute. The hell? Let's go into Wickhouse. Damn it. Let's go straight to the point. Projection and psychology. This is very well health. All right. What does projection and psychology mean? All right. Accept it. No, go away. All right. Projection happens when someone unconsciously attributes their thoughts, feelings, or behaviors to another person. All right. Projection is a type of defense mechanism or means of coping. Exactly. They fucked up. They know they fucked up. They don't want to admit that they fucked up, and to the extent which they fucked up. All right, so it's this constant denial. All right, and deflect. Constant. Well, Africans sold other Africans. I'm sure you heard that shit, and that's not even the truth. All right. Anything to deflect. All right, and assuage guilt. That's what they do. But it's not going to happen. All right, these curses are going to get that ass. All right, and in the end, Revelation 13 and 10. All right. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword. It ain't nothing they can do to get around it. All right. But it's kind of funny to see him try, I must admit.
Avatar. Now, I is a black American and proud as hell to be black American. But you and I know, and God said, hey, what would you like to be? And we're sending you to America in the 18, 19, anytime before 1970. That's the running thing, right? You'd be like, you don't want to come to America as black anytime before 1970. And I think kind of historically, if people being real and being honest, they would agree to that. And to a large extent, a lot of y'all would agree to that now. But it's just bogus for Trump or people like Trump and Jill McDaniels with her harsh, brittle face, you know, looking like John Cusack in the face. It's just diabolical, man, that these people cannot admit the realities of life. Mm-hmm. The realities of this country.
And also, Vivek Ramaswamy, that Elamite piece of shit, he held that town hall meeting in Cincinnati, and a Jake asked him point blank, why are you always so quick to sweep what happened to us under the table, as he put it, but nobody else, especially those Ashkenazi Jews? Oh, yeah, he went there. And you should have seen the response of this piece of shit. He tap danced all around it. Basically telling the elder Jake, you know, who gives a fuck. I mean, it was...
Realities of the history of the United States. And that's just because they got a dumb fan base. They got a goofy fan base that are not just dumb, they have no accountability. Yeah, we need to start taking that word back, fam. Let's take back the word accountability. Because if you can't be accountable for all the disenfranchising that this country has done to black people since we got here, like if you can't say, hey, we need to hold our government accountable. If you can't do that, you can't open your mouth and talk about somebody black at a Carnival cruise as if they're on videos of white people getting drunk and doing things like setting cars on fire, being total asses after just winning a game. It doesn't carpet bomb our timelines, does it? The only counter to Abby Phillips I'm going to offer is this. Black America, we got to stop letting Democrats use our pain and suffering to help everybody else. Slavery, the apartheid that we dealt with, and after slavery, which people refer to Jim Crow, all of that convict leasing, all of that has nothing to do with immigrants who come to this country, has nothing to do with LGBTQ.
Nope.
And to try to use, and that's what I believe a lot of some people that are not totally brain deficient, right? Some people who don't have brain worms, they understand about us, but they don't get why these other groups get shoehorned into a lump with us when they got nothing to do with us.
And it's so sad because you dumb
When
fucks.
they came here.
You dumb fucks that are out there marching with these LGBTQ and all these others. You don't see the game that's being played. It's so sad how easily manipulated our people are. Same with this political bullshit. You know, you're either Republican or you're Democrat, but none of them. We should have voted our interest. What is our interest? In other words, if you're going to be or participate in that bullshit, you should have been an independent and let them come to you. But no, for the last 60 years, what did you do? 90% of the time at least, you stayed on that Democrat plantation. And they constantly just showed you they don't give a fuck. Why would they have to? You freely gave them your vote.
Their free will, where they are just a different orientation, or where they just want to be just different genders. Like, what does that got to do with black Americans? Like, really? I know there's some black Americans who fall into those groups, but they are black first. Because when you see them, you see black, don't you? And when they talk, you hear black, don't you? Yeah, you do. So that's the only problem I have, Abby. The problem is the Democratic Party loves to use black people in order to help build their base and stretch their tentacles into America, into these other groups that they want to make them victims, of something that they haven't even experienced, and using us as the scaffolding to hold up this plate. When in reality, our legacy is our legacy, and it ain't got nothing to do with anybody else. Nor should they want it. Nor should they want it. We ain't been compensated. We don't get treated well after it. We get disrespected. There's nothing about it that you should want. Nothing. There's no slavery check, goofy. People from Africa and Latin America coming here because you dark skin trying to claim blackness. There's nothing to get except shit from the liberals. If you wasn't here to get back of the bus, red line, kids suspended from school for nothing. Same things white kids do. White kids get a slap on the wrist. Our kids get suspended and expelled. To this day, that's what's happening. So if you weren't here for all of those goodies, then you don't get to come here in front, man. And I don't know why that's a hard thing to explain. Let my people go.
That's just another tactic that the enemy is using. You know, divide and conquer. All right, he uses all these others as buffers. All right. Well, don't be mad at me. Well, look at them. And he sets them up. You know, they come over and they still come over here with that damn excuse. Well, you know, my people came, whatever, came over here with nothing. No, it's come out how you get these motherfucking loans and you get all this aid that we can never get. So you're being set up.
That's the nicest way I'm gonna say it. All right, guys, give it up for that and give it up for yourselves.
The Tim Black Show stream.
Yeah, you know, this place is done. This place is done. Good riddance. That's what I say. So, hey, you know, I hope whoever views this is edified as usual. And also, yeah, remain circumspect out there. All right. 1 Peter 5 and 8. All right. Just, especially now. All right. Because we know how these Edomites act. All right. When they, when they're no longer living good, I'll just put it like that. All right. We're always, when you go into Wikipedia and you look up lynching, there's a section there that talks about what precipitated all those lynchings. And it had to do with the economy and these people not doing well in some cases as compared to us. Jealousy and envy, right? All right, so yeah, with that, hey, shalom, shalom. See you in the next video.